Thank you so much, and namaste, everyone. Thank you all for tuning in and joining me on this day on your Black Friday after Thanksgiving. So, we are going to move through a very gentle yoga flow, just a great way to get our body moving, get some places open, and then we're going to move into some longer holds of poses using props, which will be a nice way to wind us down, prepare the body for bed, and to bring you hopefully into a more calm place. I have my good friend Jeremy here who's going to be a demonstrator for me. But first, I want you to go ahead and find a comfortable seat. And if you don't already have two pillows, go ahead and grab two pillows. We're not going to use them right away, but we'll use them towards the end of the practice. So just have them within arm's reach. So in your seat, feel that you can press your sits bones into the ground and start to extend your spine, reaching up through the top of your head. Notice if your shoulders are pulled up next to the ears, and if they are, can you roll them back and allow them to slide down the spine so that your chest is nice and open and your neck is long. Allow your palms to face up towards the ceiling and take a big breath in. And a full exhale out. One more time like that. Big breath in. And fully exhale. We'll open with the single Om, breathing in. Om. Good. From here, let's slowly face the front of our mat, and I'm going to have you lay down on your back. So while you're laying down on your back, go ahead and make an X with your limbs. So allow your hands to reach over your head and your feet to spread out wide, and the edges of your feet can touch the right and left edges of your mat. From here, take a big breath in and find a full body stretch, reaching through your hands and your feet. Your hands may lift off the ground. Your feet may leave the ground. Good. And then as you exhale, slowly release everything into the ground. Just briefly scanning through your body, see if you feel a place where you're maybe harboring or holding some tension, and see if you can use your exhale to release that tension. Good. From here, you're going to pick up your left foot and either cross it over your right foot or bring it right next to your left. So you want to keep your right foot carried way out to the side on the edge of your mat. And then press through the big toe side of your left foot so that you zip up the inner thighs together. Good. Using your elbows, go ahead and dig into the ground, lift your chest and pull your chest over to the right. So you actually want to move your whole torso over, and you may find that you have to like wiggle it as much as you can, but we want to keep our hips in the same place that they started in. Reach your hands over your head, catch your left wrist with your right hand, and pull your left wrist to the right. Now you may find that your left hip is starting to come off the ground, and if that's the case, ground down through your left butt cheek, pressing your left hip into the ground, and feel the extension through the left side of the body. Good. Check to make sure you're still breathing here, and see that you can reach through your left hand a little bit more and press more intently through your left foot. Good. We'll hold this for 2 more breaths. Again, anchoring down through your left hip, pressing your left butt into the ground. Good. And last big breath in here. And full exhale out. Come back into that X position, full body stretch, reaching through your hands, through your feet. So you can move your torsos over so it's back in the middle of your mat. Take a big breath in, reach, pull everything up off the mat. Good, and then as you exhale, drop it down. Now, leaving your left foot to the outer left side of the mat, pick up your right leg, cross it over the left. Keeping your hips as they are, move your torso over to the left. Grab your right wrist with your left hand. Start to pull your left hand over towards the right. So it's like a side bend on our back. Again, press through the big toe side of your right foot. Finding the inner thighs can draw in. Your right hip can move down towards the ground as you're reaching your ribs away from your hips. Good. Take another big breath in. And a big breath out. One more time, big breath in. Ground down through your hip as you breathe out. Good. Inhale, come back through center. We're coming through our X position, uncrossing the legs, reaching through your hands and your feet as you breathe in, lifting your hands and feet off the ground. And exhale, release it down. Good. From here, slowly walk the soles of your feet onto the floor. Take your hands, find the back of your thighs, and you're going to slowly roll up to sit. Chuck your chin into your chest as you roll up. You can use your hands to lift you up. Yep, try to keep your feet on the ground there. Good. Cross your right leg in front of your left. You're going to shift forward. Nope, just regular cross. Shift forward and come into a tabletop position. There we are. From here, point your toes, press your ankles down towards the ground. Check that your hands are directly under your shoulders and your hips are right under your knees. Good. Now, as you breathe in, come into cow pose, arching the spine, looking up towards the ceiling. Then on your exhale, press the ground away, cat pose, tuck your chin into your chest, create space in between your shoulder blades. Good, we'll move through this a few times. Inhale, arch the spine, look up to the ceiling. As you exhale, round through your back, press the ground away, tuck your chin into your chest. A few more times like that. Inhaling, arching the spine, feeling the tailbone lift up as you look up. Exhale, round in cat pose, dropping the tailbone, lifting your belly button towards your spine. 2 more times. Inhale, arching the back. And exhale, rounding the spine. Last time here, inhale, arching the spine, looking up towards the ceiling. And exhale, rounding in. But from here, come into a neutral spine. You're slowly going to tuck your right toes under and then your left, come into a plank pose or a high push-up position. Yeah, so you may find, like Jeremy, that you have to slide your feet back so you can fully extend your legs. Reach forward a little bit more through your heart. Let your tailbone drop down ever so slightly. Good. Now, keeping your hands and feet where they are, bend your knees, lift your hips up towards the sky, downward facing dog. So we want to put a nice heavy bend in through our knees. Press your fingertips and your knuckles into the ground. Bend your knees even more and lift your hips up towards the ceiling. So we want to allow the tops of our thighs to move towards our stomach and vice versa. And shake your head no here. Bend your knees, bend your knees. And nod it yes. One more time like that, shaking no. And nodding yes. Now, as you inhale, come forward to plank pose, stacking your shoulders over your wrists. Press back through your heels so we engage the back side of our legs or our posterior chain. Good. Think of pressing the ground away, so pressing your hands into the floor, creating space in between your shoulder blades and lifting through the back of your heart. Stay for one more inhale here. And as you exhale, you're slowly going to lower yourself down to the ground. Feel free to drop your knees first. Good. Point your toes, pressing your ankles into the ground. Baby cobra pose, small lift of the spine. Keep your hips pressing into the floor. Child's pose. Keep your shins parallel as you sit your hips back towards your heels. Soften through your elbows, dropping your elbows down to the ground. Release your head in the direction of the floor. And gently move your head from side to side. Good. And this is your invitation at any point throughout the practice. If you feel that you need a rest, feel free to come back into this place. Good. Slowly walk your hands back towards your knees. You're going to rise up to stand on your knees. Shift your weight into your left side. Pick up your right foot and step it forward. Good. Reach your hands up to the ceiling, crescent lunge. And in this crescent lunge, without doing a terribly huge back bend, go ahead and see if you can send your right knee towards the front edge of the mat and allow your right hip to drop down towards your right heel. Look directly forward for this crescent lunge and think of your low belly zipping up and in as we allow the ribs to move towards one another. Good. If your left ankle is away from the floor, think of rooting down through the top of your left foot and pressing your left foot, your left ankle and shin into the floor. Stay and hold this for 2 more breaths, breathing in. And slowly breathing out. Reach through your fingertips a little bit more as you breathe in. And as you exhale, bring your hands down to frame your right foot. This is a stay with me moment. You want to lift your left toes, bringing your left heel towards your butt, and then allow the left toes to pivot towards the right. Walk your hands to the left side of the mat, and you're going to rise up to stand. We're preparing for gate pose. Go ahead and lift up. Nope. Stay. Lift your torso. Good. Then step your right foot forward. Take your right hand and press it on the top of your right thigh. Reach your left arm over and side bend to the right. Now, from here, we want to use the activation of our hand or our forearm on our thigh. And again, thinking of pressing my left hip back as I reach to the right and spiral my body up towards the ceiling. So I'm using the activation of my arm into my leg to get a lift of the right ribs of the body. Good. Stay for 1 more big breath in. And exhale it out. Good. I love this part. Inhale, come up like you're taking a warrior 2 on your knee. And then as you exhale, you're going to lean it back. Good. Slowly bring the hands down, walk towards your right foot. Turn your left toes back towards the back edge of your mat. Low lunge, lifting your back knee here. You had it right. And step your right foot back to meet the left, plank pose. Again, drop your tailbone, reach forward through your sternum, press back through your heels. Take a big breath in here. Soften your knees down, lower all the way down onto your stomach. Point your toes. Hug the elbows into the body, lift up, cobra pose, pressing your feet into the ground. Keep your knees down, sit back, child's pose. Again, bend the elbows, soften through the back of your neck, releasing your head in the direction of the floor. Take a big breath in and slowly exhale out. Slowly bring your hands back to your knees. Rise up to stand on your knees. Shifting your weight into your right side, step your left foot forward. Reach your hands up to the ceiling, crescent lunge. Again, allow your left knee to travel forward towards the front edge of your mat. Let your left hip move down toward your left heel. And look forward as you reach through your fingertips. Keep the shoulders grounding down so our neck stays nice and long, our heart stays open. Keep pressing the top of your right foot into the ground as you stay steady with your breath. Beautiful job, Jeremy. Take one more full breath in. And as you exhale, bring your hands down to the mat. Squeeze your right heel in towards your butt. You're going to turn your right foot towards the left and walk your hands to the right side of the mat. Gate pose, rising up on your knee. Step your left foot forward towards the right edge of the mat. Side bend over to the left side. Left forearm rests on your left thigh. And press your left forearm into the thigh. Lift the left ribs and look your gaze up towards the ceiling. Think of your right hip moving away from the side bend. So we lengthen through the right side of our body. Take a full inhale in here. And exhale. Now inhale, rise up as if you're taking a warrior two on your knees. Lean it to the right. Allow your right hand to come down to the ground. Left arm reaches towards the back edge of the mat. Take a big breath in here. And then as you exhale, soften through your hands. Walk forward towards your left foot. Spin your right toes back towards the back edge of the mat. Step your left foot over to the left. Tuck your right toes under and lift your right knee. Low lunge as you breathe in. Step your left foot back to meet the right, plank pose. Take a big breath in here. And as you exhale, soften the knees, slowly lower down to the mat. Point your toes, lift your heart, baby cobra pose. Exhale into child's pose. I saw Rebecca said she could stay in child's pose forever, and I'm one of those people that I can seriously sit here and rest here for a moment. So we're going to build slowly into some standing poses to get the body a little bit more open before we come into some restorative poses. So from here, I want you to walk your hands forward, come into a tabletop position, stacking your shoulders over your hands. Tuck your toes under, lift your heels up and back, downward facing dog. Slowly walk your feet forward to your hands, coming into a forward fold at the front of your mat. And the hands may need to leave the ground so your heels can stay grounded. Put a heavy bend in through your knees, release through the back of your neck, and hang over your legs. So the bend of the knees allows for the muscles of the low back to release and helps keeping us from straining our low back as we're practicing yoga. We're going to go for a slow roll up to stand here, keeping your chin tucked into your chest, stretching through all the muscles on the back side of your body as you stack vertebra on top of vertebra. As you come up to stand, let your gaze shift forward. Lift your shoulders up toward your ears. Shrug them back and down the spine. Let your palms face forward as you come into Tadasana Mountain Pose. You might find it's a little more comfortable to have a little bit of space in between your feet so your feet are hip-width distance apart. Think of softening through your tailbone, lifting your low belly or your pubis bone up towards your navel, and growing a little bit taller by reaching through the crown of your head. You can allow your eyes to close here as you shift your attention to your breath. And see that with each exhale, you release a little more tension in your body. Good. Take one more full breath in and exhale out completely. As you inhale, reach your hands above your body, high prayer. On the exhale, forward fold, bend your knees as you bend your hips and reach down to the ground. Going to plant your hands, step your left foot back. Keep your left heel lifted, and this time lift your arms up for high lunge. If you have low back issues like myself here, go ahead and put a soft bend into your left knee and think of your left knee dropping down towards the ground. That'll allow the tailbone to drop in, to soften more here. Think of your right hip moving towards the back edge of the mat and your inner thighs drawing together as you reach through your fingertips and feel your core engage. Good. Stay here for one more full breath in. Good. And as you exhale, seal your left heel down to the ground. Reach your arms wide as you come into Warrior Two, softening through your shoulders and feeling the energy of the heart reach out through your hands. If you notice that you're pitched a little forward, I want you to lift up through the right side of your body. Keep bending into your right knee. Let the right hand soften down and the left arm lift up a little bit higher. Without shifting your alignment here, take a glance down at your right knee. And if your right knee is collapsing in towards the midline or towards the left side of the mat, engage your right glute and think of turning out more, carrying your right knee out towards the outer right side of the mat. The shift of the knee will allow your right inner arch to lift. Good. Spin your right palm, reach it forward, up and back, peaceful warrior. Let your left hand slide down to your left calf. Triangle pose, lengthen through your right leg. Bring your right hand to your shin. Now from here, I actually like to grab my shin. Yeah, you knew where I was gonna go. And think of putting a micro bend into your right knee and pressing your shin into your hand. This will give us a little bit of lift of the right underside of the body, and then lean back into your right hand as you roll your left shoulder open. Good. Take two more full breaths here and keep your gaze focused on your left thumb. You got it. We're going to come back into Peaceful Warrior as we bend into our right knee and reach our right arm up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, bring your hands down to frame your front foot. Low lunge, look forward. Step your left foot forward to meet your right. Bend your knees, rise up to stand. You're going to pull your right knee into your chest. Tree pose, and that can be, go ahead and face forward for this one. That can be sole of the right foot to the inside of the thigh, or right foot on your calf, or if you find balance is a bit difficult for you, you can keep your toes placed on the ground and keep your heel pressing into your left leg. Now find that your left thigh, or the piece of your left leg that's meeting your foot, can press into your right foot, and your right foot can equally meet that energy so that the energy and the focus is moving in towards the center of your body. Turn your right knee forward, step your right foot down and come into chair pose. Good. Bring your hands to a prayer at your heart center and twist towards the right side. Now, if you just ate before this class, don't connect your left elbow to your right knee. If you didn't, go ahead and bring your left elbow to your right knee. And then we're gonna allow our hips to move to the right. Press your hands together and let your right shoulder roll open and try to look over your right shoulder so that the twist not only moves through our spine, but we can allow it to travel up the cervical spine and then through the eyesight. Good. Inhale, rise up to stand. You can face back forward towards the wall. Good. And then as you exhale, fold forward down to the mat. Good. Plant your hands, step your left leg back, drop your knee down. Inhale, rise up, crescent lunge. Good. Point your toes here, let the right knee move forward and your hips soften down towards the ground. This time, you may lift your ribs away from your hips and start to lean back slightly. Now pay attention to your low back here. If you start to feel a little bit of grabbing in the low back, then stack your shoulders back over your hips. Good. Inhale, rise up through a neutral spine. And as you exhale, bring your hands down to your mat. Lift your left heel in towards your butt and turn your left toes to the right. Walking your hands over to the left side of the mat, come into gate pose, lifting up to stand on your knee and step your right foot forward. Side bend to the right, resting your right forearm on your right thigh. Again, find that upward moving energy, pressing your forearm into your thigh, lifting your right ribs, and maybe you can bend over a little bit deeper. Good. Inhale, come up as if you're taking a warrior two on your knee. And then side bend it to the left, bringing your left hand down to the ground and leaning back. Cartwheel your hands down and walk towards your right foot. Turn your left toes to the back of the mat. Step your right foot to the right. Low lunge. This time we'll step forward, forward, forward. Keep your chin tucked into your chest, and we're going to slowly roll up to stand. And shrug the shoulders up towards the ears, roll them back and down as the palms face forward. Reconnecting with your breath here if you lost your connection. Reaching through your fingertips and allowing them to move down towards the ground. And this activation will open the chest a little bit more. Take one more full breath in and fully exhale. Good. Let's do all that on the other side. Lift your hands up to the sky as you breathe in. High prayer. As you exhale, moving through bent knees, bring your hands down to the mat. Shifting your weight into your left foot, step your right foot back into low lunge. Lift your hands up to the ceiling, high lunge. Engage your inner thighs and your core as you rise. Again, you can soften through your right knee if you have low back issues to release the tailbone down to the ground. Find the same activation of your inner thighs pulling in, your outer hips hugging in and reaching up through your ribs. Stay for one more inhale. And as you exhale, bring your hands down to the mat. Oh, sorry. Just kidding. Stay up. Spin the back heel down. Warrior two. Soften down through the shoulders. That's what's dropping down. Hug the ribs in and reach through your fingertips. Again, find that your left glute is engaging. Your left knee can carry out to the side. Good. And then allow the breath to move down into the depths of the belly as the ribs move out and then fully exhaling. We'll take two more breaths of that and see if you can spin your right toes forward a little bit more so that your right hip comes into an internal rotation. Good. On your next inhale, spin your left palm, reach it up and back for peaceful warrior. Keep bending into your left knee as you lean back. Lengthen your left leg, triangle pose, left hand onto your shin. And find the same lean into your left hand. And find that your right hip can move slightly forward towards the wall. Good. Left hip pulls back. And then roll your right shoulder open a little bit more. There you go, Jeremy. Think of reaching more through the crown of your head so we lengthen through the sides of your body. Good. One more breath in and breathe it out. Peaceful warrior, lean it up and back, bend into your left knee as your left arm reaches up towards the ceiling. On your exhale, cartwheel your hands down to the mat. Spin your back heel up and step your right foot forward. Slowly roll up to stand. Pull your left knee into your chest and find tree pose. And finding that same spot that you had on the other side, so it's to the inner thigh, calf, or ankle, and let your hands form a prayer at your chest. Think of your left hip dropping down ever so slightly and lifting and supporting yourself through the right side of your body. Keep pressing your right big toe into the ground as you grow a little bit taller. Stay here for 2 more breaths, and if you fall out of it, simply come back into the posture. Good. Last big breath in. And exhale. Turn your left knee forward towards the front edge of your mat. Step your left foot down, chair pose. Bring your big toes to touch here, your knees to touch. Look forward in your chair. Bring your hands to a prayer at your heart center, and we're going to twist to the left side. So again, you can keep this more of an open twist if you ate not so long ago, or you can allow the right elbow to find the outside of your left thigh if you want to take it in a little bit deeper. Let your hips move in the same direction of your twist, so your left hip is going to move to the left. That'll allow the right hip to come back and keep your hips in a neutral state. Good. Press your hands together more and let the left shoulder roll open. Gorgeous job. Stay for 2 more breaths here. And I like to think of the low belly pulling in and up as my right ribs move more towards the left side. Last big breath in here. And breathe it out. Good. Inhale, rise up to stand. Go ahead and face forward. As you exhale, bend your knees and fold forward over your legs. Plant your hands, step your right foot back, drop your right knee down to the ground, and lift your hands up, crescent lunge. From here, send your left knee forward. Lift your heart, and maybe we lean back as we shift our gaze from the wall to the ceiling. Pressing your right foot into the ground. Stay for 1 more big breath in and breathe it out. Again, 1 more inhale. And as you exhale, bring your hands down to frame your left foot. Pull your right heel towards your butt and turn your right toes to the left. Walk your hands to the right side of the mat. Rise up to stand on your knee. Gate pose, step your left foot to the right edge. Side bend towards your left forearm on your thigh. Right fingertips reaching towards the front edge of the mat. Cycle your head up towards the ceiling and allow the right side to roll open, so your right shoulder is going to move back towards your right foot. Good. Stay here for 1 more big breath in and breathe it out. Good. As you inhale, come up through center as if you're taking a warrior 2 on your knee. Side bend into the right, letting your right hand catch the ground. Your left fingertips reach towards the back edge of the mat. Slowly make your way forward, bringing your hands to frame your left foot. Turn your right toes to the back edge of the mat. Step your left foot to the left. Tuck your right toes under, lift your knee, Low lunge. Step your right foot forward, forward fold. Good. Slowly roll up to stand. Good. From here, we're going to make our way off the mat. Go ahead and grab your two pillows. So Jeremy, I'm going to set you up and then I'll let you come back in to be in the pose. So for our first pose, we want to allow our pillows to gently be stacked on top of one another. Jeremy, if I can have you come here. And you're going to sit your butt. If you have a really long torso, your butt's going to be in front of your pillows. If you're like Jeremy and your torso isn't as long, you're going to sit on the edge of your pillows. So the goal is to have the top edge of the pillow right at the top edge of your shoulders so your head can hang off and down to the ground. Either step your feet on the floor with your knees pointing up towards the ceiling, or you can lengthen your legs fully out for this pose. From here, go ahead and lay down just to make sure that your measurement is correct. Strip down just a little bit, a little less. Split the difference. There you go. Come up just a little. There. Good. If you're in a room that's pretty cold and you have a blanket within reach, you can grab your blanket and set it over your hips. And take your palms and turn them up towards the ceiling. And this creates an external rotation in the shoulders, which allows the heart to be a little bit more open. Now, unlike the active flow that we just did, in our restorative practice, we want to allow ourselves to soften into the props and allow gravity to do most of the work for us. Let's encourage the breath to be a full belly breathing. So allowing the diaphragm to release, the stomach to push out as you breathe in, and then fully release on the exhale, the diaphragm pulling in and up. And the goal is to encourage a deep breath, but not one that is entirely labored. So it's close to natural as we can get. We're just checking that we're allowing our breath to be as full as possible. If you find here that your mind is drifting and wandering, maybe you're thinking about things to do tomorrow or what you ate or what you're going to watch after this. Think of focusing on the breath, and you can even mentally allow your mind to say, breathing in, I know I'm breathing in on the inhale, and breathing out, I know I'm breathing out on the exhale. And then as that focuses your attention, you can gently allow that to soften to just resting on the breath and feeling the sensation in and out of the breath moving through the lungs and stomach. From here, invite your breath in a little bit deeper. And if your legs are extended out, you slowly, one at a time, walk the soles of your feet onto the floor. And I like to, from here, kind of bend into my elbows, press my arms into the ground to slowly roll up to sit. Tuck your chin into your chest and then rise up. Good. From here, very simple transition into our next posture. So you'll reach behind you, remove the pillows from under your butt if you're sitting on them, and you're going to set up for a butterfly pose with the soles of your feet touching. You're going to take your pillows here and set them up to support your knees. Now, if your hips are really tight and your knees are lifted, go ahead and lift your knees just a ton. So if they're lifted like so, you're going to take your pillow and fold it in half and allow the two outside edges to be right under your leg and allow it to rest there. So the goal is that our legs can rest without having to focus on holding the knees up, and then you'll slowly roll back down onto your back. And then, you can allow your hands to rest with one hand on your stomach, one hand on your heart. And for this pose is called reclined goddess pose. We want to see that we can allow the breath to exist as it naturally does. And with our hand resting over our stomach, we can physically feel the sensation of our belly pressing our hand out and in. to go along with the rise and fall of our breath. And from here, you're going to slowly allow your knees to come towards one another and the soles of your feet will come to the floor. And then you'll bring your hands, actually roll over to your right side and press into your left hand and come up to a comfortable seat. Now from here, we're preparing for our final pose, which is Shavasana or corpse pose. So we're going to actually use our pillows today. So I want you to, it's okay, stay there. Just stay there. So place one pillow. It's going to be under your knees. You'll stretch your legs over the pillow with the soles of the feet pointing to the front of the mat. Mm-hmm. Good. And then as you roll down to lay, the other pillow will be this time above the shoulders. Yep. As a cushion for the head. Allow your breath to enter in a little bit deeper. Gently encourage movement through your fingers and your toes. And one by one, walk the soles of your feet to the floor and mindfully roll over to your right side. From there, push yourself up to a comfortable seat. There we are. Finding a tall spine. Take a big breath in. And a full exhale out. Make a noise. One more time like that. Big breath in. Exhale, release something. And we'll close with a single Om, breathing in. The light in me also bows to the light in you, and it honors you. Namaste. Thank you so very much for joining me and Jeremy. It was my pleasure to share this practice with you.